Hey, it's been a really long time, but I'm here. My name is Spring, and we're about to dive into the finished t-shirt design. Our season had started 2 months ago, and our team wanted a team shirt because we've been playing in this league for about 2 years as a full team, and we do have one team uniform, which is the cock hat, but we wanted something more. And originally, our team captain was saying, what if we just bought a t shirt online? So, our team name is Long Cocks on the Beach. And he wanted to have like this cute, like, cock design shirt of like a chicken and have long cocks on the beach. And when he first sent out the actual images of what the t shirt would have looked like, I did not like it at all. It just looked terrible. I guess it looked cheap, and I didn't want to wear it. And so, what I proposed was, what if I just made the shirt? Like, what if I made the shirt design and I can print on the design onto everybody's shirts? And so, in a way, people would buy their own shirts, so they would wear it and they already know how it feels. And we would have like the same design on each shirt. And so my team captain was like, you know what? Sounds like a great idea. Go ahead and do it. So the whole reason why I got this whole idea of basically the stamp was because I think it was like 2, 3 years ago, I was part of an exhibition, and one of the vendors and the artists was doing lino cuts. And I believe their Instagram is Spike Fruit. I'll post them up here. And before the show started, he was kind of just showing me how he was basically approaching his like lino cuts, and he was just showing me like the painting method tool and just stamping it onto pretty much the males that he would do and all the shirts designs that he would do. And for some reason, I think that technique stood out with me, and so I thought about it and I said, let's just try it. So I started off with a sketch in my sketchbook, and it looked great. It looked perfect. The details were beautiful. I wanted to evoke like an Art Nouveau-esque to our design. That's where I got the text from, and then that's where I got like this cock person from. And I basically transferred it over to the lino cut, and that's where I ran into my first issue. The drawing itself was very detailed. Like on paper, it was beautiful, but once I started to carve out all the details on the lino cut, that's when I realized that I needed to change the sketch. Because the sketch, there were just too many details. And by the time I finished half of the cutting of all the small details that I did on that first lino cut, in my mind, I already knew it wasn't worth it. And so we went back to the drawing board and made a different sketch, which turned out so much better. The new sketch, I was thinking about it in terms of how it would look on a stamp instead of a paper and like sketch paper. The cutting was a lot easier, and it turned out great. The original plan was to stamp the the already pre-made stamp onto the black t-shirts, and so I bought white paint, and I brought black paint and orange paint and I think another paint just in case. And I'm glad I did that because the white did not show up on that black t-shirt at all. It it just refused to really stick for some reason, or maybe I was using a different kind of white, but for some reason the white was not showing up at all on the black print. And so I was panicking a little bit because I was like, oh no. Everyone's already bought their black t-shirt, and I have already made out the cock stamp. And so my mind started thinking, and I said, what if I put black ink on the cock and transferred it onto a fabric and then sewed that fabric onto everyone's t-shirts? And so we tested out different kinds of fabrics. At first, we tested out a tote bag fabric that we got from France, and that was a good test because the black ink came out beautifully. It was stunning, it was gorgeous, and I did a wash test with it, and the ink actually stayed on. It kind of looked like the ink was part of the actual tote bag, and I loved that. At the time, we ran out of linocuts for all of our texts, and we just didn't have enough fabric, or thought I didn't. And so I went back to the art store, grabbed some more fabric, grabbed some more lino cuts, I think I grabbed like another paint bucket of white because I thought I was using a different kind of white. That didn't work out. The fabric that we bought was canvas paper because I was like, okay, I'm assuming this is where I went wrong. I'm assuming that all tote bags are made out of canvas. And I think some of them are made out of linen, but I think that's what originally. So I messed up on the fabric, is what I'm trying to say. I should have not used canvas because when I transferred the pattern onto the actual canvas cloth, it was beautiful. Don't get me wrong, it actually looked really nice. And I let it dry for a week. And then when I did the wash test, all the ink pretty much just came out of the canvas, and that's where I was getting frustrated because I thought I was doing this was all kind of like pointless. I was like, oh, I spent so much money on this, and I already told everyone I would make this team shirt for us. So canvas paper or canvas cloth, not it for lino cuts. And so I went back to the drawing board of which fabric to use, and I tried to stick to the original fabric of the canvas or of the tote bag that we got. And in my closet I had a few extra like pillowcases that I weren't using, and so I cut up those pillowcases, and those were my new fabric. And when I stamped on the black pattern onto the pillowcase fabric, it was so much better. When I was stamping the pattern on the canvas cloth, I would have to like tape the block so it matches evenly so I could like reapply paint and basically do it 2 or 3 times just for it to show up. For the actual canvas or for the actual pillowcases and those fabric, it was just roll the black ink onto the stamp it, and it was a one-time thing. The ink just soaked in so much better on the fabric than the canvas cloth, and I'm glad I changed it because it worked out. And then I gave it like another few weeks, and I gave it another wash test, and it turned out perfect. It was what I should have done in the first place. And then we get to sewing. The pillowcase, some of them, the pillowcases were good, some of them were not. It's cute. The t-shirts are cute, and I think they turned out okay. And now I would think I worked on 4 t-shirts already. I think it was like 4 or 5 t-shirts. I had yet to work on mine, and I had to yet to work on one of our other teammates. And for my t-shirt, I just did it on a white tank top, and I just pasted the black ink onto the tank, and it turned out perfect. I should have just asked everyone to get a white t-shirt so I could just make a black ink. But the good news is that, or I have this stamp already pre-made out, and so I can pretty much stamp it on any clothes that they want to have a new team shirt on. Because the shirt with the cloth, that's like a little bit heavy because it's like pillowcase material. So I don't know how long it'll last. And on top of making a t-shirt for everyone, I've made also like little like mini posters for our team, or like mini like tabloids. So now I can give them to my teammates and show that we were all here for 2026 for spring. And just this experience alone has been very eye-opening. I realized all the pre-planning I'd done up here in my head did not help at all when it actually came to the execution. This new project and this new way of creating and expressing myself made me realize I'm a better problem solver than I think I am. And I'm changing my approach now to not think as much and to kind of just really go into the project and then problem solve as I go, especially when it comes to like physical material. All in all, I think it took about like a month And that's because I was working and then doing older stuff and like buying new things and like buying new tools and like learning how to use the tools. But other than that, that's pretty much what the whole Lino cut t-shirt experience was. I think for sure I'll definitely do it again. Not white ink on black shirt, but a like black ink or different colored ink on like lighter colored shirts because that was so much easier and it just cut out all the in between unnecessary steps. Just want to give y'all the update and we'll see what I tackle next. Bye.